So I want to teach you this sneaky little production trick that can help your drums feel, do you know what? I'm just going to play it for you. So did you hear that? It's effectively exactly the same thing happening again, but just with a couple of tiny little differences. And this is used all the time throughout electronic music. You can probably notice on the snare especially. It gives it this feeling of urgency and impact, the kind of impact you want your music to have when you release it with your distributor, DistroKid, a digital distributor that's able to get your music onto all of the major streaming and download platforms at a price an independent artist can easily afford. So the first time I actually noticed this technique was a long time ago in a track by Two Fingers called That Girl, except specifically the Spore remix. Absolute tune, by the way, you should go and check that one out. The track starts in halftime and moves up into drum and bass later. But on the halftime section, I noticed we got like a bang and then this big swinging and impact with the drums. Once I figured this out, I use it a lot now and I've noticed it used so much more. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to fire up Logic and show you how this can be done. And it can be done in any DAW. Let's be honest, it could be done in GarageBand on a phone at this point. All right, so here's how this works. It's relatively simple. As you can see, we've just got some added percussion. We've got these little bits here. These little bits here are the magic part, but let's just bring the elements in so we can hear what they're doing. Extra little percussion layer. Extra layer of hats. There's already hats in the main break. They're quite pacey as well. It's just an extra layer to them. These are the ones that are the magic. Just those tiny little reverse hats. The fact they alternate's important as well, rather than it just being the same one all over. You can hear it's a couple of different sounds. And then we've got another layer of them that work together. So hopefully you can hear that like almost like syncopated sweep pattern going on, right? The placing of those is what's so significant. Hopefully you can hear it adds like an extra groove. It adds, I think the official term is oh. And the way it does it is because of where they're positioned. By the way, if you ever want to quickly loop something in Logic, select whatever you want to loop, tap U it, put a loop around it. We use that about 7,000 times a day. So look where it's placed, right? Just before the snare and into the snare transient itself. You see that? So they're not stopping right here, they overlap a little bit. So they accentuate the snare transient because they're slightly different in their placement, because they vary. Look, where I've got them landing, that one actually finishes right before, that one goes a little bit over. That's what helps it gives it that kind of that wonkiness, that extra bit of feeling. So listen to just those. Hear how that makes the snare smack so much harder. I've done nothing to the snare, but your brain goes, oh damn, it's gonna smack so much harder. It's awesome. Massive difference, right? Now what the other one does, it does the same trick, but to the kick drum, which is why it's a different sound, and it's why I wanted that juxta of two different sounds, like you got your boom ka in D and B, right? So we mix it up. So we've got basically it's basically a shaker pattern that starts happening, isn't it? But there are these reverse sounds that sweep in. So once it now starts sweeping into the kick as well, let's just look at making this as well. So, got our bare naked drum loop. And we've got a couple of different reversey things. Now, all they really are bits of hats or shakers and things like that. You know, hats and shakers, they work the best. Little white noise snippets as well. Let's be cheeky and let's copy our drum loop down into here. And what we'll do, we'll take one of the hats from here, right? there's a couple of different sounds in here as well. So I've got two there that I can use, right? And I've got those two just there. In here, I'm just gonna go to reverse over here, press T and I in Logic, chop those into two samples so I can use both. And you know, the first one we're gonna put on the snare here. Now remember what I said about it just going a little bit over, right? And the next one, I'm gonna do a similar thing. So now I've not even gone and found another sound. I've used the same sound from the loop, case in point. And then you can throw that in context of a whole track and just ramp it up, ramp it up, ramp it up, push it up to your 16 bar and then drop everything away. If you want to learn more awesome tips and tricks like this one, check out this video where I did an entire track from scratch, showing all of the little tips, tricks and techniques that I use to get there. See you on that one.